try a new thing where I give a correction to somebody else, and I'm not going to name names or call them out because I just want it to be instructive as opposed to what you jackals do to me. So maybe they're watching, maybe they'll see this, maybe it'll change their behavior, but if not, that's fine. You know, I don't judge. So here we go. Tariffs are not a tax on a foreign country. Also, I can take a correction. Really, there's a breaking point where people just have begged me never to do an Australian accent again. And I will endeavor to take the note. We had a joke about how expensive Ford Fusions were going to be with the trade war. Quite a few of you wrote in to say Ford no longer sells the Fusion. Maybe not to you. Brother, I can get a Fusion. You think if DiCaprio walks into the Ford dealership, they're going to tell him, we don't make that anymore? Come on, grow up. Pickled pig's feet. We mentioned those, and some people from the South, because I didn't speak about them in a way that made them sound appetizing. Some people from the South who watched the show took umbrage, or as they would say, umbrage. And they were mad. They said, I failed to recognize that can be a delicacy. And you know what? I look forward to trying them and finding out who's right. I don't know when I'm going to try, when the opportunity will arise. Maybe if I'm ever kidnapped. I assume when that happens, you become a little bit less picky of an eater. Update on my ear surgery. So I went in and I said, I hate this. And they said, well, what do you want? And I said, the opposite. I think if there's a lesson here, it's just, you know, when you're getting elective surgery, be super specific. Does this count as heightening? What is it when it's exactly the same? Speaking of elective surgery, we talked about how Shoemaker got his lips done. And he asked for Angelina Jolie lips. And a lot of you were like, well, what does that look like? Well, you remember Bees McKeever made this wonderful, she sent this in a long time ago. Well, she just sent this in, which is very helpful. So if you have a Shoemaker at home, you can now get the Jolie lip bonus pack. And just give you a sense of, oh, you get it. We had a joke about two Philadelphia tortoises being part of the MTV show 99 and Pregnant. Somebody wrote in and said, tortoises lay their eggs rather than carry their babies until birth, which is why they're called hatchlings. So I guess the point was they were not pregnant, but they do get pregnant. In fact, I did some digging and found out that female tortoises can store sperm for up to 3 years, which means when a male tortoise doesn't use protection, he's not out of the woods for a long time. You should see how jittery a tortoise gets when he's worried if he got her pregnant. He's like this. I mean, he's still a tortoise. And we had a thing about Trump tweeted Hank Tuff, and we said that sounds like his porn star name. And then we did a play out, one of our famous play outs, where he said, he was a pizza guy in a pornography film. He said, did you order the sausage? Did somebody order the sausage? A lot of people said, you should have said, did someone order the mushroom? This is based on Stormy Daniels' account, where she described the president's, well, there's no easy way to say this, his genitals. But you know, here at Late Night, we don't truck in those lurid details. Or as they say in the South, lurid. So if you want to know more about her account, just Google the sentence, Yeti pubes and a dick like the mushroom character in Mario Kart. He has a name. Though, I guess that would be a case where you're probably pretty psyched they don't use your name. We had a joke where we said a leopard seal was working for Trump, and a lot of people said that's not a leopard seal. That's a harbor seal. Still, I'll take it, because when I first asked graphics for a leopard seal, this is what Tara sent me. And then people said, like, first of all, you know that's not a leopard seal because leopard seals look scary. And so again, I went to Tara, I'm like, hey, they told me it's scarier than this. And this is what Tara does when you say it's supposed to be scarier. She just goes. And I, for one, don't care for it. Coyote, we said he fell into a canyon. Oh, sorry, we said he fell into a cavern. People said he fell into a canyon. But, you know, ultimately, I think the impact is what matters. I said sassafras was my safe word for when I was getting choked too hard. People said, you know, if you're doing choking stuff, safe word's not going to help you much. Good point. That might be one where you want a hand signal. Somebody sent in my first gratuity. Somebody sent me $1. I'm sorry, I will go back and look. I apologize. A couple from Pittsburgh sent me, this is just wonderful, a wonderful gift of basically one of my favorite Pittsburgh comedians. It's a Dennis Miller, and it talks. Well, but it's really exciting to have my own Dennis Miller doll. Because the best thing about having my own Dennis Miller, again, I don't know why I didn't unpackage everything today, guys. But he can hang out with Bird Band. And, like, I mean, just the fun I was having with these two all day. It's like, check it out. You look like the Egyptian bird god Horus on Casual Friday. Ha ha! Your specificity amuses me. Nice headgear. Who's your orthodontist, Dr. Christian Zell? A deep cut on both the pain it causes me and the obscurity of the cinematic reference. I've never seen a guy so jacked and so power hungry. You're like Robert Moses if he was on the juice. You're burning me the way I'm going to burn Gotham to the ground. Talked about how it would be possible for an aquarium to burn to the ground. A lot of you said an aquarium couldn't burn to the ground. And then someone wrote in, Seth is correct, Melbourne's original aquarium located at the Royal Exhibition Building in Carlton was destroyed by fire. In 1953, I looked up an article. In those days, the exhibition building was more extensive than it is today. It had 2 large wings attached to its northwest and northeast corners, and from 1930 until 1953, the northeast wing housed what was then Melbourne's only public aquarium. That was until January 1953, when it was destroyed by a massive fire that almost consumed the historic Royal Exhibition Building as well. At about 6 p.m. on the evening of January 28, 1953, an alarm was raised by 2 children who saw flames at the rear of the building and ran out to the night watchman, calling out, "There's a..." Elsa! Oh, I want to do it so bad. There's a fire. A lot of people said, hey, stop asking us to do polls. We're sea captain polls. A lot of people have stopped using X because I guess they hate capitalism. And there are YouTube polls. So we're gonna start doing the polls on YouTube. I checked with Digital. They said they could figure it out in like 7 to 8 weeks. When they do, we're gonna post 2 polls for you in regards to what should be our Emmy submission. The first poll is what do you think should be our Emmy submission this year? Episode 127, 122, 115. People like 115 or other. And then just write underneath what other should be. And then the second poll will be, are you okay voting even though it is now too late for us to change it? And that will be a yes or no. I regret to inform you that we are about to be on a 2-week break. And look, I get it. A lot of you bust us for how much time we're off. And, you know, we don't like it that much either. I certainly prefer doing the show to not doing the show. And, you know, if there's a silver lining, I spend the 2 weeks with my family. And, you know, I do kind of want to think at least that, you know, when I'm on my deathbed, you know, my children will gather around and they'll say, we do appreciate, you know, that despite your busy life, that you always had time for us. And we feel like for someone in the entertainment business, we had more of your time than maybe other children have. At which point I will say, not by choice! So, yeah, see me in 2 weeks.